In this video, I'll show you how you can make your very own short story books for kids so that you can sell it on Amazon KDP and start making money. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Sean. I've made well over 7 figures from selling my own books on Amazon KDP. So if you want no BS publishing advice from someone who is actually doing it, then make sure to subscribe. So creating these story books for kids used to be hard. You had to come up with the plot, the designs, the themes, actually writing the book, getting all the images. But today, with the rise of AI, doing all of that is significantly easier, especially if you're just getting started with your Amazon KDP journey. So in this video, let me show you exactly how to do that. All right, so the first thing you want to do is to look over here at Amazon. When I search for short story books for kids, you'll see that there are 3 bestsellers that are showing up in the results. So we have 365 bedtime stories in rhyme, 5-minute stories, over 50 tales and fables, and captivating stories for curious kids. So I'm using an app called Bookbeam to get all of this information right here. It is a paid app. You will have to pay a little bit, but it'll definitely help you with your keyword research process when you're publishing on Amazon KDP, especially because it tells you how much the book is making exactly. So it is a really cool tool. If you guys want to check it out, the link is below this video. So if you see right here, one of the book is earning $827 in royalties per day just on this one book. So if you multiply that by 30 days in a month, then the author of this book is earning about $25,000 in royalties every single month, which is kind of crazy. So let's try to see how the book looks like inside. So it has 146 pages and the dimensions are 6 by 9 inches, which is kind of the standard. So if you look at the samples of this book, by the way, it's actually earning more than $827 a day. At the peak, it's earning actually $1,015 per day. So that is about $30,000 every single month, once again, which is crazy. So going back to it, let's take a look at the sample page of the book. So you have your cover right here, which looks very, very good. It has all these different characters and famous personalities. And then once you open the book, you'll see some example stories, the actual title, the author, copyright message, those kind of things. Then you have the table of contents. And with the introduction, as you can see here, it's basically just words, right? And this is like the first story of the entire book. So one thing you got to understand is that these kind of books are typically the ones that parents would be reading off to their children as they go to bed. So it's not like the kids are reading it themselves. They could, but it's mostly for parents reading it to the kids. So for that reason, you don't need a full color, a bunch of images kind of book. You just need mostly text. And as you can see here, they just have one image at the beginning of the chapter and the rest is all text. So it is very easy to make. So a book like this can be made with AI fairly quickly. So I'm going to show you how to do that using ChatGPT. So first, we want to go to ChatGPT. It doesn't matter if you're using the free version or the paid version. So let's just go and ask ChatGPT to give me 10 short storybook topics, and these are going to be for children. So let's just say age 9 to 12 and hit enter. All right, so as you can see right here, we have 10 different and unique topics that ChatGPT gave us. We got a time traveling treehouse, a magical library, and an alien exchange student as the first 3. And these are all great ideas. But once you have your topics down, then you can start creating the story. So let's copy the first one by highlighting the entire first story. Then press Ctrl+C to copy it. Then you want to copy this and then you want to click on the prompt box again. And then type in, give me a short story for children with 300 words. The topic would be, and then after that part, you want to paste what you just copied earlier. Now 300 words is just an example. You can go lower, you can go shorter, because even if it's a short story, you don't want it way too short. So that is like a sweet spot, but this is up to you. So after you paste that in, you just want to hit enter and let ChatGPT write the first story of your book. So as you can see, we got a short story that is generated. And now that you want to do next is you want to copy the entire content, not including the title, by highlighting the entire thing. Once again, you can click on Ctrl+C on your keyboard or just copy it whatever way you do normally. Then you would want to head over to a website called smallseotools.com. Now, this is a free plagiarism checker you can use. Although if you can afford it, Grammarly Premium is a better plagiarism checker for just $10 a month. That is what I use, but if you want to go with the free option, then this is a good free option as well. So just click on this one, the plagiarism checker, because this is where you will be pasting your text just to make sure that it is not copying any other existing piece online. And what you can do here is you can see that there's something that says paste your text here. So just paste your text there, and then you want to head over and click on check plagiarism over here. then you will just have to wait a little bit until it finishes checking. Okay, so the checking has finished detecting if there are any plagiarized content. All right, so let's see what the result was. So you'll see here that there are just 5% plagiarism in the entire story. And to be completely honest, anything below 6 to 8% is okay, especially for a shorter text like this. So as you can see here, 95% of what ChatGPT wrote here is unique, so you can ensure the originality of your story, although I still recommend you go and edit the content, not just copy paste from ChatGPT. I do recommend you edit the story to add your personal touch and make the content your own, not just a AI generated content. So after you've edited the content, you got it checked for plagiarism, you found out that everything is good, and there are no major plagiarism, now you can start putting it into the document. So the next step is you head over to Google Docs right here and then just click on a blank document. And so it should load something like this, just a blank page. And this is a place that you will be pasting the text in. So what you want to do is copy the title first, the time traveling treehouse, and then go back to Google Docs. Now click on this part here as you'll see the different alignment of options. You'll see right here that the alignment is from left to right, but you want to align this at the center so it's justified. So click on this one right here and then paste the title using Ctrl+V again. And that is the time traveling treehouse. Then you can make the title a little bit bigger like that. And you can also change the font right here. So you can upload your own fonts or you can use the free fonts that Google Doc has a lot of. So for example purposes, I'll use Comic Sans because this font is more so for children. And then once you've done that, just press enter to add a new line because this will be the start of the actual story. So the font size here is, once again, it's really up to you on how you want to make it look, but I will basically just do the size 12 or 11 font size so that it's readable. After that, I'll go back to ChatGPT. I'll just copy the content once again and then paste it back into Google Docs. If we go back to the sample and scroll right over here, something like this, for these images, if you can draw it yourself, obviously you can do so as well. But if you're like me who has absolutely zero design skills and you're willing to pay a little bit of money for a good quality illustration to be done by a professional, then you can always hire people that are willing to do it on sites like Fiverr. And the good news is, since you're really only putting one image at the beginning of the chapter and your book probably only has 10 chapters or so, that means you do not need a ton of images. So there are plenty of Fiverr gigs that'll do this for you, but I found a few good ones that can create high quality illustrations. Like this one right here, you can see that the cheapest one is $15 and it looks pretty good. This is the other one, it is $20, but you can see that she also creates high quality illustrations if this is the kind of the style that you are going for. So if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link to both of these gigs in the description below. Another option of creating these images is by using AI. So when it comes to AI images, Midjourney is the best one at the moment. You do have to pay a little bit. It's $10 a month for the commercial license, but it's well worth it. $10 a month is very, very cheap. So what you want to do is first click on the prompt message box and then type / and you'll see some options that show up and it says imagine here. So you want to just type / imagine. So click on that one and then you will see here the actual prompt box. So this is where you will put what you want your image to look like. So what you want to do next is think of what kind of images that would fit into your story. So if we go back to our book, you'll see that this is a time traveling treehouse and there are 3 characters, 2 girls and 1 boy. So once you have that detail, you want to go back to Midjourney and type in something like comic style black and white photo of 3 children, 1 boy, 2 girls, playing under a magical treehouse. This is just an example prompt. You can change up the prompt and see what kind of different results you get, but let's see what we get with this one. So just click on enter and you just have to wait a little bit for the image to start generating. All right, so Midjourney finished generating these images. Keep in mind that Midjourney generates 4 images per prompt, so you will have multiple options to choose from, but these are what we got. So you can see that it definitely followed my instructions in terms of 2 girls, 1 boy with a treehouse kind of theme. But I really like this photo, so let's try and upscale it. So what you want to do is before you download the image, you have to upscale it. And upscaling is just increasing the quality of the image. So you want to click on this one because the images are counted as 1, 2, 3, and 4. And since this is a photo you want to upscale, which is the second image, you want to click on U2. So the U stands for upscale. And this is the upscaled version. So I do think it's a good picture. I think it fits the story really well. So we're going to go and download this. So right click on the image, select save image as, download it. After you finish downloading, go back to the Google Doc file and you will put the image you just downloaded here. So the image goes before the exact story, right after the chapter title. This is up to you. This is just based on the example book that we saw on Amazon and how they're doing it. But if you want to put it in the middle of the story or anywhere else, you totally can do that too. So for me, I'll just put the image under the title, and let's just make this title a little bit bigger. So there we go. And let's put an underline to it. Then I'll make all of these a little bit bigger. And then you can upload the image now using the insert tool here. So click on it and go to image and click on the option upload from computer. So once you upload it, obviously this is a little too big for the storybook, so just resize it to a smaller size. There we go. And I'll do the same thing for the next 2 stories. So I don't want to make the video too long, so I'm just going to cut to it once I'm done. Alright, so I finished making the other 2 stories. This one with the alien exchange student, and this one is the magical library. By the way, another thing you want to keep in mind is, the stories that ChatGPT generates sometimes uses words that are harder to understand for kids, like more advanced words. And that's why it's important to read it, rewrite it, and make it your own story instead of just copy pasting from ChatGPT. But once you're done with this, just leave it as is because we're going to go and make our book cover next. So let's just assume that the entire book is 100 pages long. So the next step is to go here. So there's a website called bookowl.com. So it is a place where you can get your KDP cover template generated in case the Amazon Help Center one is just not working for whatever reason, like for me today. Now, once you're here, just put all the details like the width and height of the book. So width is 6 inches, length is 9 inches. So 6 by 9 is the size of the book, which is a standard. And there we will put 100 pages. Now the paper type is white, and we're not going to put anything in these parts because the ISBN is provided by Amazon already when you're uploading the book. So after that, just put your email address and it should be good to download. Alright, so now that you got your template downloaded, you will see that there are different margins in here that you need to take into considerations, like these lines right here and this spine here. So the main thing I want you to take note of is the measurement right here that says 12.475 inches by 9.25 inches, because this is what we'll be putting in Canva. So let's go to Canva right away. All right, so now that we're in Canva, you will need to click on this one right here to create a design and click on custom size. So this is where we want to put the measurements that we just got from the template. So the width, once again, is 12.475. The height is 9.25. Then click on create new designs, which should bring you to a new tab. Then it should look like this. And what you want to do is upload the template you just downloaded from Bookowl in here. So click on upload files and select the template from there. Okay, so now the template has been uploaded to Canva. So all you have to do is just expand it all the way until it fills the entire page. Now remember that you have your margins here, and anything beyond the dotted lines will be cut off from printing. So just be careful of that. So to put in some images, you can select this one, go to elements, and then search for elements depending on what kind of theme you have in your book. Since this is a short stories for children with a lot of topics, I'll just type in the search box children's background, or maybe change it to children's storybook background. So apparently that doesn't work. So let's just try playground background instead. So you can see that there are a lot of photos that you can use, but some of them will be marked with a crown at the bottom right side. This means that it's a Canva Pro element. So you have to have the 20 bucks a month Canva Pro plan to use these. But there are a lot of free ones that you can use as well if you don't want to pay for that. So if you can't find a good background in Canva, you can always use some illustrations you made, free stock photos from the internet, or just hire freelancers on Fiverr to make the cover like how we did with the interior image earlier. But right now, I'll just upload some photos that I have here. Now, what I did here is I got an image of the background and an image of 3 children in here. So if you're wondering why I didn't put the children all the way to the left side, is because when I click on the background and then I click on this, the transparency, and then lower it down, I made sure that the children are not going over the margins that we have because it's going to get cut off. Another reason is because the right side of the page is what will be the front cover. So you want to have all your images there. That's why I inserted them right over here. But once you're done with that, just put the transparency back to 100 and we're good to go. So you have your image for the cover. Now, just a disclaimer that this is a book cover that I just whipped up very quickly. It's not perfect. I'm not saying it is perfect. For you, you definitely want to spend a lot more time than what I did here to work on making the book cover as good as you can. Perhaps use some images from AI as well. I use a Canva image example, but you can totally use AI images, put on your book cover. Just play around with it and make sure that it is as good as you possibly can make it. It is optional, you don't have to do it, but if you do want to add some spine, you can do that too. Now for the title, you want to click on this one right here. So the text, click on add a text box and click on add heading and put it right here. Just make sure to lower the transparency of the background first to know where you're putting the heading in. Once again, you don't want to go in over the margins. All right, so we have the heading right here. Once again, make sure that it's not going over the margins and that it is perfectly centered. Now, when creating titles for the book, we can ask ChatGPT for a list of titles that it can give. So let's go back to ChatGPT and ask, give me a title for a children's storybook with more than one story filled with, stories about many themes. Oh, actually, I'll just change it to give me a list of titles instead. So there we go, just click enter. So now we have 15 different titles that you can use. So for example purposes, I will be using The Great Adventures. It's not a perfect title. It's just something that, once again, we're just coming up real quick for the video. But for you want to kind of spend a little more time thinking of, a good title, okay? So I'll copy that one and then head back to Canva. Then click on the text that's in the page and then paste the title using Control+V, or just paste it and then go and align the text. So next you want to try and adjust the fonts. So there are a lot of fonts that you could use if you click on this one right here. So as you can see, you got a lot of options when it comes to free Canva fonts. So you can use the free fonts from Canva. You can also upload your own fonts. So I'll just use a font that's kids friendly called Blueberry. So click on that one, readjust the position of the title, and it's up to you if you'll change the color of the text. But you can also add some emphasis on the text using the effects tool right here. So I'll choose the outline right here to make the title stand out. And you can modify the color of the outline, for example, white or maybe red. But red doesn't look child friendly, so let's change it to white. After that, just return the transparency of the background back to 100. Now you have your story book cover, but we're not actually done yet. You also want to make sure that you're clearly telling people what the age group of this book is for. So what you will do is just duplicate this title or this heading right here using this feature, and then type in for children ages 6 to 10. So there we go. And make sure that it's small, that everything is just in one line without going over the margins. Maybe we can try lowering it a little bit more. All right, so the book cover is basically done. Once again, it's not perfect, so I want you guys to spend a little more time when you're doing this yourself. But for me, as an example purpose, I will just stay with this. So all that's left to do is just download it. So click on share and select download. And for the file type, you want to click on PDF print and then choose CMYK. Now, if you do choose CMYK, you would have to try Canva Pro. If you don't have Canva Pro, you can go with the other option, the RGB option. CMYK does look a little better, especially for paperback covers. And you can just get the Canva Pro trial and you can cancel later if that's what you want to do. So that is how you create the content and also the book covers. But if you don't want to deal with making the book cover yourself, you can easily outsource this to some illustrators on Fiverr once again, and which is something that I personally do and recommend so that you can have a higher quality book cover. But if you don't have the budget for it, you can obviously start off with making something on Canva. And then whenever you start making money from your books, you can reinvest it in your future books to make the quality better. But if you do want to outsource, these are some gigs that I do recommend. So this is a gig that will create a book cover for you for $30. And it looks pretty good, pretty high quality. This is another one for $50 and it'll create a children's book cover for you. So if you guys want to try it out, I'll leave a link below this video. So that is it for the video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. If you guys want to check out my KDP course, as well as all the tools and resources that I recommend for your publishing business, the link is below this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.